Hi, this is Micki with Cat and Mouse Astrology on the new moon in Libra at 21 degrees. This is a partial solar eclipse, and it's pretty deep. It's pretty deep. Cat can't be with us. Eclipses are eclipsing. They create transformation in our lives, and you may know people going through some serious transformation. You may be going through some as well. It also creates loss, and Kat will be back and she can talk to you about her experiences of this eclipse in at the next moon. Right now, I'm going to go through it pretty quickly with us. The new moon in Libra is square Pluto. So Pluto is square the nodes of fate. The north node, which we often think of as the dragon's head, makes you want to gobble things up, move towards it, eat life. The south node, the dragon's tail, what we excrete, what is of no longer of value to us, what we have to get rid of. And this in square with Pluto, which is the deep dive, Pluto, which is the underworld, Pluto, which is regeneration. To regenerate, you got to change, you got to transform. Often you have to let go. This is where the compost is made. And this is where in our life, our spirit, if you will, is honed, sometimes through fire. It requires a decision, this square with Pluto in the nodes and Pluto in this new moon. Some decision is going to require you to make a sacrifice. You may have already sacrificed something. In fact, an eclipse, a lunar and a solar eclipse, these eclipses that require a loss, especially an eclipse on the south node, as this is in Libra, this kind of sacrifice may have already happened because it may be 6 weeks ago that you started to feel this eclipse, and or it may be several weeks or even months in the future that it plays out. This is a long-term effect, an eclipse. You may have a memory of the previous eclipse back in 2017. And these eclipses again have long-term impacts on our lives. So what will you sacrifice? What are you willing to sacrifice? The moon trines Saturn. This reflects an ease, an ability to move beyond prior restrictions. Sun and moon are both conjunct Mercury and spotlight a transforming message. Now, the message may not be coming through right now because Mercury is combust in the sun. It's overwhelmed by the light of the sun, and it's hard to get messages through when it's just too bright to see. We have a Sabian symbol at 21 degrees of Libra. That is a Sunday crowd enjoying the beach. The keynote, a reviving contact with the mother force of nature and of social togetherness. I can imagine with the transformations going on in the world globally and with transformations going on in our own personal lives, that this could be viewed, this keynote, in many different ways. A positive interpretation would be, how can you use the mother force of nature, connecting perhaps with the earth or with the water or with the air in some elemental way to increase your sense of social togetherness with others. Here's a general interpretation of our new moon in Libra. And again, the interpretation comes with the question, what will you sacrifice in order to move into a new transforming future? You've got to let go of one thing in your hand in order to grasp something else with the same hand. So we got to let go of something. The eclipse means that something is obscured or temporarily dimmed or cut off. The moon is our emotions. It's reflective, it's receptive. It's conjunct, spotlighting both Mercury and the sun. And again, it's square Pluto. Pluto, regeneration, transformation, rebirth, power. It's the generational planet because it's in one sign for 20 years, about. So right now we're ending this Pluto in Capricorn. You felt it for a long time. It's been there since 2008. And it's really this last little tiptoes back into Capricorn that are shaking things up. Soon it will be full on in Aquarius and it won't be back in Capricorn again. So this is the last bit of a transformation. The point here is that this isn't new. This is something you know has been transforming for a while in your life, or you know the transformation was coming. You may have even wanted the transformation. You may not have. This kind of transformation often just hits us out of the blue, and while we may have sort of expected it, we didn't expect it now or in this way, and we may not be ready for it. A transformation in communication is reflected by this Mercury conjunct the eclipsed moon. Clear lines of dialogue are obscured or temporarily dimmed or cut off. There's a feeling or a need for a radical regeneration, but that may be eclipsed. Revolutionary, revelatory messages, these messages that may open our mind or take us to a new place, these illuminate a need for some kind of diplomacy. Don't just jump. Wait, pause, think. Let Mercury move forward. Let us move beyond this particular moment before the decision is made, if you can. While understanding is lacking, it's not a great time to make a decision. So if you have to decide something, decide it with your heart. Venus is in Virgo. That means Venus is in a sign of analytical reasoning. Here's a picture of our chart. You can see highlighted in red Pluto, the north node in Aries, the south node with this sun and moon, new moon in Libra, and a big change is a coming here. Big change is a coming here. It's still ruled by Venus. This is ruled by Venus, and Venus is in Virgo. It's been a Venus story for quite some time. Venus is opposite Saturn. It's also sextile Mars in Scorpio. The value and beauty of Venus is crystallized in the ice-cold bath of Saturn's opposing tension. Saturn's, a cool character. And opposite, there's a tension. Saturn may be pulling away from Venus's wants and desires. Venus is kind of standing in a cold bath there in Virgo. But she can see clearly. She can see clearly. And she's propelled by Mars and his slow burn. They're creating a way forward. This is still a story of Venus. We've had a story of Venus for many, many months, all summer, ever since early June. Now, out of Leo, Venus is moving forward towards her ultimate goal. She's going to reunite with her lover, Mars, in Aquarius in spring of 2024. So this is a continuation of a story that's been going on for quite some time. And Mars is square Pluto at this time. Mars is also trine Saturn. We've got two malefics in Hades turning a corner together. Dun, dun, dun. It can feel pretty intense right now. A question: can you turn the manure to compost? Can you transform the skeleton in the closet into something of lasting value? Write a great memoir of that horrible experience, teach a lesson to someone else, something of, find some gold in here, find the silver lining. With Mars in Scorpio, Scorpio has 3 different levels. Scorpio is the scorpion. Scorpio is also the eagle. And this transformation ability with Pluto is also reflected with Mars in Scorpio where Mars loves to be. So there's some power available. Will you use the power to follow the beauty of Venus, the values that you are most important to you? That's the way to healing. That's the way to healing, because we've also got an opposition here with Chiron. So we've got Sun, Moon, and nodes are square Pluto. Excuse me, that's a square. Sun, Moon, and nodes are square to Pluto. Venus in Virgo is opposite Saturn in Pisces. And then we have Chiron, the wounded healer, also opposite to the Sun, the Moon, and Mercury. So with Chiron in here in opposition to this eclipsed moon, we have an interpretation. Again, what might the future bring if you let something go so that you can grasp something you value instead? After the corner is turned, you can't look over your shoulder. You've turned a corner, right? You're not going to see what happened around that corner again. You've got to move forward. It's out of sight now. It's out of your line of vision. So our desire to move toward what we value is cooled by the Virgo environment. It's slowed by Saturn's opposition to Venus. The way forward may seem murky, and the structure, Saturn, underwater in Pisces, and Mercury, combust the sun, makes this very unclear. And that's why you got to depend on your heart. You got to look at your values and, what's that place inside you where you fall back when times get tough? That place of heart strength, that center place, finding it is the most important thing now. Some inner meditations, music, art, ways of getting beyond the communication part of this, again, the talk, and get to the center of the feelings. That's the way to move forward with this. We do have some trines, and the trine are the malefics trying each other. They're at ease with each other right now. That's not necessarily a good thing. If you know where to go, if you know where you're headed and how to use the brakes, the brakes are Saturn. Saturn is what slows you down. Saturn is what wants to stop you. Mars is the gas. Mars wants you to go. Now, if you can do this like a race car driver, I like the way Rick Levine describes this. It's somebody who's really skilled at, NASCAR, knows when to apply those brakes and when to apply the gas in just the right amount at the right time. And that kind of skill, knowing when to stop and when to go, that will facilitate an easier transformation in these tough times, these times of healing and this time of greater need. So a last little message I would share is, when you find your center, help others find theirs. This is a good time to reach out to those that you love, that you care about, and let them know that you love them and you care about them. And the future is around the corner, and we'll get there. Have a wonderful moon, and we'll see you on the other side of it.